Do you think the Atlanta Falcons owe Kirk Cousins an apology, Jage? Because they signed him to a $180 million deal. One of his big things is he wanted to be the guy. Okay, he wanted to be the guy. Signs that big of a deal, you assume you're going to be a guy. Then you get to draft night, and with the 8th overall pick, the team that just paid you that you have not even played for or met everybody in the building or established relationships with, picks a phenomenal quarterback out of Washington. A situation then brews from that moment forward on who's going to be the guy for the Atlanta Falcons. Is it the big money guy or the high pick guy? Then all of a sudden, guy starts throwing a lot of picks, and high pick guy becomes the guy. Can't go back to Kirk is what everybody's saying. Do you agree with that? And how do you feel this entire situation has kind of played out, Jage?
I don't think you owe anybody an apology when you give them that much money. So I think
fair.
It sucks. There's no doubt. I know he wants to play. There's no question. He's a competitor. He wants to play. But also, you got a lot of cash. So it's not that bad. I do think that they clearly need a spark. This didn't do what they thought it was going to do. At the beginning of the year, I think there was some crazy moments, some great stuff where you see the sparks and you're like, okay, the Falcons are going to figure this thing out. Obviously just haven't quite figured it all out. So now very excited to see what Penix does. And I do think that development and time to learn is helpful. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he performs.
Do you think Kirk backup quarterback over there now? And how's that entire situation? Because yes, he did get paid a massive amount of money. And Tom Brady's entire point about Daniel Jones' situation when he asked for his release, now he's a member of the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. Tom Brady said they gave you a lot of money. They took care of you. Like, that's your team. You were there for them. And if they ask you to play scout team safety, I would do that. He said, I go back to my times at Michigan. I was asked to do that at the beginning of my career with New England. I was backup. Tom Brady basically went on a full pitch about, like, the Giants have given you a lot. And for you just to be like, nah, I'm not doing anything but be starting quarterback, he hated. Now, there's a lot of people that have sympathized with Daniel Jones, too, because of how that entire situation has played out. So we don't have to rehash.
Yeah, I mean, because you also have to say, like, Saquon did a lot for the Giants. They didn't reward him. Like, I get it, maybe not contract or everything, but, like, this is, at the end of the day, this is a business. Like, you kind of lose all the, like, feely stuff. It is a business. And if you can get your release, get it. Like, I mean, it's benefited him. You might as well try.
So what do you think happens with Kirk?
Well, he has a pretty significant no-trade clause from what I understand. So he kind of holds all the cards here. So if he wants to, again, but to be honest, if you're getting paid that much and they ask you to be the backup, and unless you play him into getting your
stuff,
release.
And that feely stuff, shouldn't he want to get out?
I know. I'm talking myself in a circle here. Let me figure it out. I'm working through it.
You'll get there.
I don't think it'd be wrong of him to ask for his release. I think he can absolutely do it. It's whether or not who plays the game better from that standpoint. Like who's going to win the leverage showdown there. Because, I don't know. I don't know. You got me there.
Yeah, okay. So maybe Kirk just does the backup role, because feels like he owes the Falcons for how much they're paying him. Maybe he just goes about his business, which everybody would hope that their older veteran quarterback would do for a rookie quarterback, especially if they're paying him that amount of money. And maybe Kirk is not that bummed out about it because maybe he did lose his confidence, like Orlovsky and others have said. And maybe he wants to find who the quarterback is that he is, yet again, in a slump that I don't think we've seen him have in a long, long time.
Yeah, but can they bench Penix now? Like, Penix is it. You can't really go back.
Yeah, what if Penix throws 4 picks next week?
It's hard to go back. Against the Giants.
Okay, Kirk, $180 million guy, remember?
Get your ass back out there. This guy sucks.
We screwed up again.
Yeah.
This is on us. But, once again, we got a chance to see it, But then, at that point, season, would they still be in it with the Bucs? Potentially, but if they were to lose, kind of start slipping away a little bit, which is why I think it's such a big deal. They think they can go win right now with Penix instead of Kirk, so that means what they've seen in practice is obviously good. There's just so many different layers to this shit. There's so many different.
I don't think you can go back, especially not this season. I mean, they've clearly made their move, and if it's not working out, that means they're going to be losing games, so they're going to be out of it anyway. So then you let Penix play it out to see what you got moving forward. The only time, in my opinion, you could go back if you really wanted to would be after the season going into next year, but you've really kind of undercut his legs there and took out all, respect and kind of dignity out of the locker room. So it would be pretty darn tough to go back.
Okay, let's move away from the Atlanta Falcons and let's go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All eyes were on Tage's left ankle whenever he came up while Lane Johnson was blocking him. Obviously, very scary type of play if you're a fan or just, football fan, because what TJ has brought to the entirety of the sport. That's his outside rush foot, too. That's a big get-off side of his body there. What do you know about this? What should we think about it? And how's Tage feeling after what happened against Philadelphia on Sunday?
Yeah, we got a low ankle sprain there. X-ray's negative. It's one of those things that you just roll it really hard, and it's very painful, very tough to utilize because you're a pass rusher on the edge, turning the corner on that ankle specifically, putting an insane amount of pressure into it. So when you add that with the fact that they're playing the 3 games in 11 days or whatever it is, very difficult, but he is walking around better and feeling better than I think you would initially think the next day. So who knows? I know him. I know he's a competitor. I know he's going to want to be out there. I know he's going to do everything it takes to be out there. So we're going to see what happens. But there's no question that the 3 games in 11 days is A, nuts, and B, very difficult for a situation like this, which Mahomes is also facing in Kansas City.
Jay, did you ever play 3 games in 11 days, like at any point in your career growing up? High school, college, NFL, and what do you think? I guess what do you think the NFL is thinking when they do this?
I think we all know what they're thinking when they're doing this.
What's that?
What?
I mean,
They love ball.
there's a lot of
Candy
Yeah, they
canes.
just want more money for more football for the people.
Oh, football.
Well, there's a Freudian slip.
Yeah. I
there,
think you gave it.
yeah.
Okay, we heard what you thought. Oh, the money. I didn't think.
Well, I mean, but no.
I thought it was football.
That didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, me neither. Candy cane games.
Yeah.
NFL holiday
Remix.
remix.
Santa.
I have not played in that short of a time period. It is a lot, but it's tough, man. I'm looking forward to it because I'm a fan of the game now. I'm not actually in the game, so I don't have to do it, and I'm obviously Netflix Christmas Day calling the game in Pittsburgh, so really looking forward to that. But no, there's no question. I mean, nobody's naive in thinking that it's not difficult.
So it's obviously good promotion for our sport, for our league. And Netflix has 270 million, I think. 300, I forget the number. 270 million worldwide, subscribers. So that number is going to be gigantic. I mean, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, allegedly 60 to 70 million people, which is why I was buffering. So those Netflix deals with people are a global expansion of sport. So playing it there on that day, wonderful. Absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. But having them just, instead of play on Sunday for a Thursday game, have them play on a Saturday when they've already played on Thursday and then crown in another one is certainly an aggressive decision for your, 4 top teams, 4 very, 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 very good teams. So I think there could have been much better planning. I think there could have been when bye weeks happen, do you add one because we're playing on a Wednesday now and nobody else has to, instead of just trying to cram it in, and hopefully, when's Christmas next year? I don't know how that shit works.
Hopefully Thursday.
Yeah, because if it's a Thursday, there's no problem.
Just do it like Thanksgiving.
Boom. Yeah, well, that's an easy thing.
Yeah.
Wednesday is problem. If it falls on a day where there isn't, Tuesday would be a problem. Wednesday would be a problem that they would have to figure out. But Mike Tomlin told us to talk good shit to the NFL about this. We won't say anything, but you need to talk good shit about it. And it's you're asking a lot, especially this late into a year with a playoff push happening, and all bodies are banged up at this point. Everybody in the NFL is banged up at this point.
And I'll be there on Christmas Day, obviously, on the call, and it's something you have to discuss, in my opinion, because of how it affects the game, because of how it affects some of these coaches' decisions and things that are going to go into this game. These guys, whether it's game plan, whether it's throughout the week, how their bodies are getting ready, whether it's throughout the course of the game, if they need to manage reps or whatever it may be, whether it's this week or the Christmas Day game, that is going to play a factor in it. So I'm certainly going to bring it up and discuss it because I think it's something that is not necessarily, fans know how hard it is, but I don't think they truly understand. You guys obviously all know how difficult that is, especially going from a Saturday to a 1 p.m. game. It's not even like it's a night game, it's a 1 p.m. So it's something I'll discuss, but I'm looking forward to it. I think Netflix is really prepared. I think they obviously had some stuff during that Jake Paul fight, and they're very confident that they've got everything figured out, and they put together a great crew. So I'm looking forward to having some fun. CBS is doing the production of it. It'll be great.
Triple H said for when Monday Night Raw debuts on Netflix, January 6th, he was asked, are you worried about the buffering issue that Netflix had with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? And his answer was, if there's 60 to 70 million people trying to watch, we're okay. I mean, they'll figure it out, hopefully. And I think Netflix understands after what happened in that particular thing can't happen again.
Right.
Because that's all anybody really talked about. Anybody talked about, like, if anybody thought Mike Tyson was going to be able to hold up with his age, you were wrong. And then also, Netflix's buffering problem is disgusting. That was kind of the two takeaways.
And Tyson's butt cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of Tyson cheeks out there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Tyson cheeks out there.
I also don't think Raj is gonna. I think Raj probably came in and was like, "Hey, this is the NFL here. Let's lock this down." And I think that it has been locked down.
I think that's why the NFL was so slow to kind of get into any business partnerships with streaming people, because they wanted to make sure that it was able to handle it and everything like that. Because I don't want to say olds run the NFL, but older people run the NFL. So they have a lot of questions about this new age. And then whenever they're talking to linear TV people who they've had relationships with for decades are telling them all the problems that could happen during the streaming thing, I think they were kind of gun shy to it all. So then when that Amazon deal gets done, that was a massive, prove it, prove that can happen. They have success on Amazon. I don't think there's been a single flub, except for people's internet connections. I think the first 6 weeks wasn't great. But other than that, there's been no flub. Then they go to Peacock, right? For the playoff game, no flub in there. So I think they're very meticulous on how it goes about going. And I think the Netflix relationship's a very good idea. I think that's a very good idea. And good luck out there, Jage. They have 40 people, right? They've staffed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On air
Bert
talent.
Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer's
gonna be awesome.
The machine, obviously going to be it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's sidelined. What's he doing?
That's a good question. I am excited to find out.
Just get ready for some zany stuff, my brother.
Bert's going to be electrifying out there. We all know that.
It's a stacked lineup from top to bottom.
Those Netflix relationships, though, are things that they can capitalize on.
Yeah.
And kind of move with.
I just did a little promo for it that'll go on Christmas with Shane Gillis, Tires, for the show Tires.
Oh.
We just did a little
Is Shane on
Netflix crossover.
Is Shane on NFL Christmas?
That promo will be, but no, he's not on the actual broadcast.
Son of a bitch.
Former D1 football player. Mm-hmm. Yeah. People forget about that.
He served.
Well.
He did.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Shane. What a legend.
Yeah.
Tire season 2, can't wait for it.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot wait for Tire season 2.
Gotta be
How
unbelievable.
do the Italians feel about Tires? Good show?
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right, good.
You gotta go around back, though.
All right, let's continue to talk a little bit about ball here. Darius J. Butler has a question for you, Jage.
Yeah, speaking of legends.
Deej has a question for Jage in front of Age.
We got Age. We got a lot of.
My middle name's Josh.
What was Q's? I heard Q's.
Q's. Yeah, it's Chuck Pagano.
The Thunderbird over there.
Mm-hmm. Thunderbird, if you want to continue with Coach Pagano. But
JJ, you not a Thunderbird?
Yeah, what happened there?
He moved.
No, I didn't get a robe. I didn't get a robe.
Bird left the nest.
Wow.
Bird left the nest.
I remember when Pat met the Thunderbirds for the first time.
Yeah, he was there. Jage was.
I don't think Pat. I remember.
I do remember. I was on a different planet in that particular one. And I don't remember why we were doing Super Bowl Radio Row.
Yeah, right from Radio Row over there.
Yeah, and I was being gifted by everybody that I met. Hey, try this one, try this one, try this one. And thank God nobody, put anything else in there. But I certainly headed north to the clouds there, and we walk in legal there. By the way, it's a legal state.
During the pickleball run too, so we're a little tired.
Yeah, a little winded, a little exhausted because we've been playing all night pickleball. Introduced Thunderbirds here to pickleball, and then I walk in there. I had no idea what that was, Jage. I had no idea what I was walking into.
Neither did I.
My first view, looking around, holy shit! What?
A lot of people.
There's thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I had sunglasses go on immediately.
Good move.
And it's like I thought I was coming to a golf. Is this a golf event or a rock concert? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a little bit of both.
That's literally what I thought. It was awesome.
First person I ran into was Miz. Miz had a lot of energy. Came with a lot of energy.
Always.
It's Miz football.
And if there's an opportunity, Miz is taking it. Yeah. I don't even have to.
No, that range is over everything.
Don't even have to do it, especially in the golf world. Mm-hmm. I mean, he is. So you weren't.
He was so nervous. Miz was very nervous. I talked to him before his shot.
Then he celebrated. Yeah!
Hit the green.
yeah, rolled off though.
Oh, yeah.
I actually ended up closer than him, and I duffed mine because it rolled up in there. He hit the green, so he thought he had a celebration moment. That thing rolls all the way off. That sucks for the Miz, to be clear. Just like when the Miz hit that half-court shot in the NBA All-Star game, and it was half a second.
Oh, man.
It would have won the game.
It would have been awesome.
Didn't count.
So close.
Don't get to have the moment.
Nope.
Of course, Miz doesn't get to have the moment. He was high-fiving Snoop.
Oh, yeah.
He was having
Fat
a full
Joe.
moment. Fat Joe was leaning back. Couldn't have it. That's Miz football. Hey, Miz, we love you, buddy.
Love you, Miz.
He was dressed like an asshole at that event, if I do recall, wasn't he? Do you remember that? He had the whole.
I do.
He had the pain.
Yeah. Payne Stewart. Yeah.
Payne Stewart stuff. Yeah. What an absurd thing. Now, let's get back to ball, please, shall we? D-Butch has a question for you.
Back to ball, specifically Dan Campbell football, MCDC, had you tweeting about fighting bears and all type of shit on Sunday. Obviously, you've lost a ton of guys on defense. Now that you had a few days of sleep on it, how do you feel about Dan Campbell's aggressive decisions that he's been going and going forward? How do you feel about Dan Campbell?
Well, I think him, obviously, after the game, having time to think about it, even said it himself. So, like, I think you don't want to crush him too much because I think he knows, and he kind of hindsight 2020. But a lot of his decisions, the fourth down decisions, even the one against the Packers, where it's like, wow, I don't know how many people would do that, but okay, I get it. You believe in your team. That's the percentage chance of that being successful was significantly higher than this onside kick choice. Now everybody keeps trying to bring up to me, oh, what about the Saints in the Super Bowl? That was a crazy one, but why don't you talk about that? You have to understand the new rules have made this insane. You have to declare you're doing an onside. There is no element of surprise. There is no chance to catch him off guard. This is the referee says they are going to try an onside kick. The recovery team lines up to stop it, and they recover it 93% of the time. There were 12 minutes left in the game. You were down by 10 points. This is crazy. And the people also saying, well, 7%, they weren't stopping the Bills' offense. So there was actually a better chance of them recovering that onside than there was of them stopping. No, that's not true.
Okay.
That's just not true. You literally had a better chance to stop them. So this didn't make sense in any capacity. I think he realizes that. I think everybody realizes it. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, and, the conversation that we've been having is that Lions defense, because they're so banged up, and it's what people were saying to you about stopping Josh in the moment. Like, yeah, this is like when Jeff Fisher kicked 3 onside kicks in the first quarter against Peyton Manning-led Indianapolis Colts when he was the Tennessee Titans. He started the game with a surprise onside kick, lined up as an onside kick, I think the second one, and then the third one, same exact thing. And I think they got 2 of them. I think they got 2 of them or whatever because the Colts were surprised. And then when he was interviewed, he said, yeah, they're going to get the ball at 40. Okay, wow, that's 2 first downs for these guys. And Peyton's going to get that. But that message he sent to his team there,
Imagine sitting in that team meeting room as a defensive player. Jeff's like, all right, guys, Peyton's going to score either way. So you guys suck, so I'm going to onside kick it every time. Like, what the hell?
So Bill Belichick did this against Peyton and the boys in the AFC Championship game or divisional round?
Thought it was division.
That was, the 4th and 2?
Yeah.
No, that was regular season. Unless you're talking about an onside kick. The 4th and 2 at a time, that was regular season.
Was it? I thought it was in
Our
playoffs.
rookie year.
Yeah, I thought it was in playoffs. It was not in playoffs?
No, regular season.
Late then. It was late in the season, right? Was it?
Kind of late, yeah. But we started off first half, great playing defense.
Man.
I was a Patriot at that time. And then late in the game, Peyton made some adjustments. He was just picking us apart. At that point in the game, as a defensive player that was playing, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. In the game with Tom. Tom, come on, baby. Throw it to Kevin Falk, Wes Welker. You boys go for it because I got to line up with Reggie Wayne in the slot and Dallas Clark and Garcon, they were rolling.
Yeah.
They were cooking at that point.
But that's the difference. 4th and 2 is so much higher probability than the current onside kick. That's what I'm so blown away that people are like, it's the same. He's always been this aggressive. No, even going for it on 4th and 10 is significantly more possible than these current onside kicks. And you can speak to it. You know all about the special. These current onside kicks, it's basically you're not getting it.
Yeah, the surprise element getting taken out of it is certainly something. You ever been on the receiving end of a surprise onside kick from another team?
Not a surprise, no. But there was one game where we were trying to kick an onside kick at the end of the game. It was Bill O'Brien's first ever game as the coach. And I went up to him and I said, put me out there. I'm going to go get it. And he goes, okay. And he put me out there and I did not get it.
Yeah. Sure. I had a surprise onside kick against you guys right in the middle of your fucking because you were scared to be out there. You know, you were scared to be out there. And I would too if I were you.
That game still pisses me off because it's on it's on every morning on the Pat McAfee Show introduction. We put on look at me. I can kick the ball. I can recover the ball.
And I called it myself. I mean, there's a lot of things that go. There's a lot of elements to that particular play there that really just kind of explain everything about me, and that's why it's in there. But boy,
it was a great play, man.
Chuck asked me later if I wanted to do it again. He's like, "Do we want to have the middle dribbler in there again?" I'm like, "I don't think I'll ever be able to hit that ball like that again. We should go to the right."
It was brilliant.
It was cool.
It was so frustrating. Because then I had to go out there, too. I was sitting on the bench. I was just ready to hang out.
We just scored. I think we just kicked a field goal. Vinatieri just kicked.
We were down deep in that game, and then we started to come back, and it was just too big of a deficit. That was again, Ty over the top every time.
Ty was nicknamed the Ghost. Do you know why he was nicknamed the Ghost? Because every time he played the Houston Texans, he would disappear behind their defense. Every time. He's got to go for a 180, 200. I forget. The second time he played Houston, that guy's a ghost back there, and it was like, yes, he is. That is
I know the exact play. I know exactly what happened on the back end. I know exactly the coverage. I can picture it clear as day in my head right now.
Glory days.
Hey, you guys you're right there now.
Hold on. Connor has a question. Jay, Connor has a question for you.
JJ, forget about the past. Let's talk about right now. The Texans back-to-back AFC South champions. It's got to be fantastic to be a Texans fan right now. How do you feel about the current state of the Texans? Do you think they can go on a run here? Or do you think these 3 games in 11 days is really going to bite them in the ass because they're also one of those teams that has to play that with that quick turnaround?
I think they needed the bye week that they just had. I do. I think they were going through it a little bit. I think they needed the bye week to kind of reset, recoup, came out, get a nice win. And now on Saturday, they've got the Chiefs with either a slightly banged up Mahomes or no Mahomes. We'll find out. Who knows? And it's a chance for them. 3 games in 11 days can either be really, really tough on you or it can be a major catalyst. And I think this team had that chance to recoup. Now their offense does still need to figure it out a bit. I mean, their defense is playing lights out. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., Stingley, these guys are playing great ball. Special teams, special teams set them up for this touchdown right here with CJ DeNico in the red zone. But the offense there's just something little there that hasn't quite been clicking. And I think if they can get that going, they can make a deep run. But if the offense doesn't start to return to what they were able to do last year, it's going to be tough.
All this is happening without Azeez Al-Shaair, who will be back for the playoff run. So you think him returning, them coming off a bye, being ready to go, I think the Houston Texans can go on and represent the AFC South in proper fashion.
Amen.
Enjoy. Actually,
Somebody has to.
We're still in the hunt.
Yeah, we're lurking. Did you hear that? Banner. 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 It's Colts right now. We're a bunch of sharks. Neckton mentality, brother.
Isn't there a way for all 7 of these teams to be locked in after this week as well?
So there is a chance, and for the Colts to get in, I do believe the Ravens would have to lose 2 of their last 3 games, and somebody else would have to win out, and somebody else would have to lose 2 games. So
Never know.
Never know. Hey,
still possible.
Crazier things have happened, haven't they?
Chargers could lose to the Pats.
6.8% percent was the exact percentage you're looking for those onside kicks. So whenever you say 93, actually 93.2, it's not even a full 7%. People are rounding up the success rate on those things whenever you talk about that.
Is there do you, as a specialist, do you think there's any way to make it, obviously if they could, they would make it better, but like it sucks right now. It just sucks. It's not fun.
They've been slowly killing the onside kick for a while. And the overloads, the amount of people, the run-up, everything, and then now having to declare that you're doing it. And I don't love it. Legitimately, I don't love it. I think the onside kick was like a part of the game that we had, at least, at the Colts, because Chuck believed in me, I think, and I worked on him, and there was an opportunity to actually get him and change the game and steal a possession and things like that. But with all the rules, it's because you essentially eliminate the onside kick when you have no overload, no run up, and you can't surprise anybody. So that's basically just saying, like, this is not going to be a successful thing. Kickers also, I think, stopped working on them because of the lack of success. So why would you waste any practice time? Because to work on those, like a high hop, that's a lot of hip, and then you're banging your toe directly into the ball, which hurts like shit. So it's like you're ripping your groin and your hip, and you're bruising your toe off the ball. So why would you sign up to do that when there's little to no chance of you recovering? So I think kickers have gotten worse at onside kicks as well, as opposed to what they have been in the past. But like Bates hit 2 good ones. He hit a middle dribbler and he hit one to the right.
Oh, yeah.
They were good. He's a weapon, but I think they're going to do I think it's going to be a 4th down play. I think that's coming.
I think it'll be awesome.
What, the 4th down play?
The 4th and 15, yeah. I think that'll be awesome.
That's because you hate specialists.
Do you think they could bring the overload back because hitting has gotten a little more safe, if you will?
Yeah, safe.
4th down and 20 on their own 25 is the potential alternative that has been pitched in the past. 4th and 20 on their own 25.
Electric.
Which would be electrifying. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine MCDC rolling that out, 12 minutes left? Goff.
We're going.
Own 25. You don't get this, are already in scoring position.
Yeah.
10-point game now. Definitely a 13-point game. You don't pick this up. Ready, set, go. All right, here we go. Ben Johnson, drop a 20-yard play.
Yeah.
Just draw this thing up.
Hook and ladder.
Even that already, I feel like the percentages are better because you could catch something lucky. You got a pass interference call. You get something like the percentage are already way better there.
Yeah, 10-10 game in the 4th, which has certainly happened. Offenses have been non-existent. So now there's the same exact outcome probably as there was for an onside kick. But every once in a while, there's going to be a team, and I hope if this does happen with the 4th and 20 on their own 25, team gets hot, and then you say, check ball game, make it, take it. Before the other team even touches the ball. Just whoom, whoom. We want the ball and we're going to score 4 straight times. Your defense is crap. Could you fathom the 3rd, 4th and 20 just in a row in this first quarter? Team scores on one big hitter. Let's do this again. Bang, another one. Bang, another one, 21 zip, middle of the...
Defense just roasted out there.
Dead.
Just roasted.
Dead. That would be awesome.
That was one of the stipulations, though, is that you had to be losing, unfortunately. Because remember, we talked about that possibility.
Yeah, when the Chiefs were rolling, it's like, oh, they're going to be up 35-0 before anyone even has a chance to do anything.
To be clear, they haven't passed the rule yet, so we think you should pull that one out.
Yeah.
Let it make it take it situation take place if that's what the teams want to do. If MCDC wants to send his offense out on the field and he has his defense have 0 snaps for the entire first half, let the guy do it. But we do.
So you have to be losing. I mean, this is all speculative, obviously, but you have to be losing. And does it have to be the 4th quarter, or could you do it in a game? Because then I could see team goes up 7-0. Boom, boom. You could miss the extra point, so it's 7-6. You can also onside it
immediately. How do we game this thing? How do we game it a little bit? That's what football people will do, and I think the NFL will figure it out. There has been, I think, 6 other teams that have gone 3 games in 11 days. I think there's been 6 other teams that have gone. I just got a message from a source within the stats world of the NFL, and they're all teams that are not in the playoffs. I don't know. Hey, good luck to the 4 powerhouses that are playing 3-11 nonetheless. AQ Shipley has a question for you, Jage.
JJ, with a couple weeks left in the season, what teams do you see that are built to withstand the playoffs and make a run?
Okay.
I mean, I think this is a real deep playoff squad because I always, for this year, for some reason, I keep looking at the Ravens and I think of the Ravens and I think of their losses and when I immediately think of the Ravens, I think of just juggernaut. I think of Derrick Henry and how he's running wild. I think of Lamar playing at an absolute MVP caliber again, and I think of how difficult they are to stop. Yet they still sit there with 5 losses, so they're going to be there going on the road to somebody as it sits right now. And that is a tough task for anybody. I think the Chargers with their defense, I think, Jesse Minter's got that defense playing lights out, and somebody's going to have to face that. And it could be possibly somebody like the Bills trying to go up against that defense. So, and then you flip it over to the NFC and you got the Packers who are sitting there right now as, I think, 6 seed. They're 10-4 and they're sitting 3rd place in their division. It's a very, very deep, difficult one. And then you look at some of these other teams, like the Rams started out with a 4-game losing streak early in the season. Now they're sitting there at 8-6, and they're all of a sudden you're like, holy, can the Rams do this? I wouldn't want to face the Bucs. This is a really deep, tough playoff. So, and I I really like the Vikings. I think Brian Flores and the defense, I think their edges in John Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel are lights out. I think they're extremely underrated. I think they are wildly underrated, and people don't give them enough credit. So it's going to be a hell of a playoff set this year.
Anybody that gets in has a chance to go on the run. Obviously, Eagles are a team that we all think are going to be able to go.
Rolling.
And that'd be great for the Johns. One team that we thought was going to be able to go just forever, seemingly. This was their window. Even though they hadn't won a Super Bowl yet, they had massive success every year, and there was no different of expectation on this particular season. It's gone a different direction. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, JJ, it's kind of cooled off now, but the whole Devondre Campbell situation with the 49ers was a big deal last week. Have you ever been in a situation like that where a guy just refuses to go into the game? It seems like that's happened more this year than it has in the past. And also, obviously, for a guy like that who's, he was starting all year, but then for whatever reason, it goes south. Like, is there anything you can say to kind of try to change that? Because Nick Bosa said, hey, I heard him in the locker room before the game or at halftime. He was bitching about it already, but I decided just not to say anything and just let sleeping dogs lie. And then obviously everything blew up, and it was a massive deal.
Yeah, I've never had it happen mid-game. I have had it happen. If you're out of the playoff scene and there's 2 games left, all of a sudden a guy catches a phantom hamstring or comes down with a sickness or something, and you're like, okay, I see what's going down here. But I've never had it happen mid-game. And I think the way that the Niners players are talking about it tells you everything you need to know about it, because you generally, if there was something else going on there, if there's something they're pretty clear about what's happening. And the hardest thing is, how are you going in that locker room and looking at a guy like Dre Greenlaw in the eye when he, had to fight back from the injuries and is coming back and is trying to do everything he possibly can to be out there? Somebody else out there who's battling through multiple injuries and just doing whatever he can to be on the field for his guys. Like that, the locker room is a sacred place, man. And if you're not going to go out there and lay it all on the line for your boys, you can't do that.
Yeah, they came out and said as such too, players.
Yep.
They came out and were like, didn't even know that was possible, have no idea what's going on. But is that a sign of a bigger
culture issue?
What the hell's going on out there? CMC being injured, obviously a massive deal. The injuries they've had to deal with, obviously tough. But it's like they just feel like a different team than they've ever felt. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had them in the NFC Championship before the season started, like many people did, and no idea. There's no, obviously when you lose a guy like CMC, it hurts, but they've been able to scheme it up. They've been able to find ways. Ayuk, Debo, Kittle. I mean, think of the weapons that they have on both sides of the ball. It doesn't really add up right now, and I think they're just as baffled as everybody else. They're trying to figure it out.
Let's head to Hammer Time. Tone Diggs, what's your question for Jage?
Yeah, Jage, I wanted to ask you about Budda Baker because he is a guy that you know well. He just got a huge extension, and we were watching him earlier today. How good he is. Is he one of the most underrated defensive players in the league, do you think?
Budda is one of those guys that you absolutely love to have in your locker room because he is going to bring it every single day. Practice, meeting, game, weight room, doesn't matter what it is. Budda Baker is going to be the same guy every day, and that is an intense, badass dude. Every day. He is going to come up into the defensive line. He'll talk shit to the defensive line and say, I'm going to get more sacks than you. I'm going to get more TFLs than you. He'll talk shit to the offensive line, say, I can beat you. I'll run you over. He'll forearm shiver a tackle on his way to a TFL. He does not care. And then he'll also drop into the deep third and pick off one of the best receivers in the league. He's a lot of fun to play with. He's extremely deserving, and he's been one of the perfect trendsetters for what the Arizona Cardinals want to be moving forward. That is the embodiment of what they would like to be.
I love Budda Baker. He's been on our show a couple times, I think. He's been great. And there was a time where the Cardinals were potentially not going to pay him. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And then they end up paying him. Now they're doing it again. Feels like they understand who they have. I think Cardinals fans understand who they have. The NFL hasn't got a chance to fully experience the Budda Baker experience because Cardinals haven't been in primetime games as much. Now, hopefully going forward, they're able to do that with Jonathan Gannon and with Kyler Murray playing his best ball. James Conner, too, being able to run people over. Can they get into primetime, into the light? That's how we'll find out if people will be introduced to Budda Baker. He's a fun player.
Yeah, he is.
He goes so fast.
Yeah.
He's so fast to everywhere that he goes. We're talking.
He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that just doesn't. He doesn't, in his head, he's so much bigger than his body actually is, which is awesome. You can literally see it play itself out.
He flies.
Yeah.
We're talking, even if you don't know where you're going, which he does, high football IQ, just go somewhere fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they say in football.
But now that I've talked all that, we're friends, so I can say this. Now that I've talked all that good stuff about him, still did get hawked by DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, people remember that. What a scene that. Get over here.
That meme lives forever.
All right, as we wrap up here on ESPN, I think we need to let the people figure out. The internet had questions, and we put out a bird call. We said all you got to use is the hashtag AskJage. In Boston, Connor will roll through and pick some of the questions that the world wants to know. Jage, let's fly through these before we exit ESPN on this glorious What Wednesday. Go ahead, Foxy. This is from Nick Moraldo. Hashtag AskJage. Favorite Christmas movie and song, and sweet look on the GIF there in the quote tweet.
Favorite Christmas movie is Christmas Vacation, but personal to me is Jingle All the Way. And then favorite Christmas song is the famous one. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
When it's the most wonderful time, the most wonderful time, the most wonderful time of the year. That one's okay. Bing da da dum, bing da da dum, bing.
Oh, good one.
The Christmas Vacation, doing that in a Dick's commercial had to be pretty